So Portland has a dog problem, and the dog problem in Portland is this. Everybody in Portland seems to think that their dog is off leash ready. And this is a reason why, since I've been here, only since July, there have been most of my clients are dealing with leash reactivity. And the biggest hurdle that we're encountering to remedying the leash reactivity is simple as this. Everywhere you go, there's an off-leash dog that doesn't have a reliable recall with the owner. So there's this mentality in Portland that the dog is okay to be off leash because it doesn't run away. It doesn't, take off where you have to go looking for the dog. That is not an off-leash trained dog. Your dog is not off-leash trained unless it can walk next to you and heel on command and come back to you on command instantly. That's just how it is. And instead, what we have in Portland is a bunch of dogs who are doing a natural instinctive behavior, which is to stick with the owner. The owner is a resource. You provide dog with food, affection. The dog is inherently going to be more likely, most cases, to stick with you. This is not a sign that you did an amazing job training the dog. It means that you've provided the dog with resources that it has deemed worth sticking around for. But if your dog is running up on other people's dogs off the leash while their dog is on a leash, and you can't call the dog off reliably, then you should not have your dog off of leash. You're making people's lives difficult. You're getting other dogs in trouble. That's just how it is. We have this deal where I take a client out, and it's one thing when I'm there. If I'm there, we have no problem. I can take the dog. I can fend off the oncoming dog because we have two separate handlers. We've got the client handling their leash reactive dog, and then we have me, and I can kind of step in and fend off the other dog. And if I'm working with the dog myself, typically I can also fend off an oncoming dog while still handling the client's dog. But it's not helpful. We're trying to paint a picture for the dog in training that it needs to not worry about the environment, that we've got it under control. But when your dog comes running up on the dog, it shatters that image. It shows this dog that we don't have it under control. And you telling me the dog is friendly, or telling owners of that your dog is friendly, it's okay. Maybe their dog isn't friendly. And you shouldn't be offended if these people are reacting aggressively at your dog to get your dog away. Their dog, they're trying to do you a favor. Their dog might hurt your dog. And they're not the ones at fault. You get this? Their dog is on a leash. They're doing the proper thing. They're pursuing training. And they're trying to make their dog safer for your dog by doing training. But you're not helping. And Portland has this problem. And it's this idea that, we can't hurt the fur babies and we can't tell them what to do. We just want to let them be fur babies and do what they want to do. And it is hurting dogs here. Literally every single case I have dealt with so far, for the most part, all of my board and trains, until this last one actually, have been leash reactive. This is because this is a product of dogs running up to them off of a leash. And by the way, I've seen the dog run up off the leash where the owner says he's friendly, and the dog is not being friendly. It's approaching the other dog. Not only is it approaching it, it's approaching it in a dominant way. It's trying to crowd space. It's posturing. It's sending signals that you, the dumb owner, don't recognize. Put your fucking dog on a leash. If you want to have your dog off of a leash, you need to train your dog off of a leash. You should probably hire a professional to help you with e-collar training. That would be a logical solution. And of course, e-collar is not very popular here in Portland, but that's the best insurance policy you can have, because the dog can still make a mistake. No matter how much training you do, and you can make it as positive as you want, but at the end of the day, if the dog is not being compliant, if you don't have a high value enough reward, then you might need a consequence. You probably need a consequence to get the dog to come back to you and understand that it is not negotiable. That when you recall it, it must come to you at that moment. There will be consequences if it doesn't. This isn't that hard, folks. Listen up. You are making it worse. And by the way, I read an article the other day about a rash of dogs going missing in Portland. This isn't surprising. These are the same people probably who are letting their dog off of a leash, and up to the point where they lost the dog, they probably were letting it off of a leash, and they got lucky a bunch of times where the dog didn't run away, and so now they think that the dog is reliable, and then they put the dog in a bad situation. That, put a leash on the dog. Even the best trained dog, when you're talking downtown Portland especially, the best trained dog should probably be on a leash. There's no reason that your dog needs to be off leash downtown Portland. That doesn't need to be a thing. You're putting yourself in danger, you're putting your dog in danger, and the only reason for this is ego. That's it. It's an ego thing, and it's not helping. It's not helpful. Put the dog on a leash. If you want to take the dog off of a leash, train the dog to be reliable off of a leash. And you need probably, like I said, to have an insurance policy so that the dog understands that it must come back. A cookie is probably not the best insurance policy, but an e-collar is a great insurance policy if taught to the dog right. But this deal where we've just got dogs running around, they're jumping on people. Your dog shouldn't even be coming up to me, let alone my clients or their dog. Your dog shouldn't come up to people. If your dog is off leash, it ought to be ignoring everybody. It shouldn't be jumping on people. It shouldn't be sniffing me. It shouldn't be slobbering on me. Put your dog on a leash or train your dog to ignore people and recall on command. It's that simple. This has got to be the worst problem I've seen in Portland. It has made my job more difficult, it's made my clients' lives more difficult, and it's made countless other people's lives more difficult that I haven't met yet. Put your dog on a leash.